Namaste, Shamatha. May the peace and tranquility be with all of you who are listening to me today. Is Rama greater or Krishna greater? Is Allah greater or is Jesus greater? Is Yahweh greater or Shiva greater? What do you feel about these kind of questions? Does it really matter? When all of us are studying in school, do we go around asking our friends, is your daddy greater or my daddy greater? Or is your mother greater or my mother greater? To each child, his father and mother are unique and precious. No child grows up if the respective parents do not pay attention and nurture them with love and affection. So what is the need for these kind of questions? We think we are talking about God when we ask these kind of questions, but in fact we are discussing our own insecurities. We are ready to trade our parents if a better model is given to us. So this is the subtle psychology behind these kind of questions. We must understand this. All it takes is just a few minutes of thinking to understand the layers that lie within these kind of questions. Yet, this is one of the most common questions I have been hearing, and one of the most common point of discussion which I have been hearing since childhood. Who can say who is greater than the other? Or if we decide Krishna is greater than Rama, can that be true? Based on what are we deciding? They lived thousands of years apart from each other. If you decide Jesus is better than Shiva, how can that be justified? If somebody else decides that Allah is better than Yahweh, based on what are we telling all these things? Or if somebody decides that Muhammad was better than Narada, based on what have you come to that conclusion? To come into any conclusion, we need to apply reason, logic. This is called rationality. And human beings are categorized as rational animals. This rationality is what sets us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. This is what social scientists have been telling us. So when we throw away all kind of rationalities and just believe in some kind of afterlife, which again is dominated by all the basal pleasures all the basic pleasures of life which we are accustomed to on this planet, on this earth, and call it heaven, and then we drive our entire life, we drive our entire human consciousness, we drive all our abilities just to enjoy in some other world which doesn't have any conclusive evidence, first of all, and secondly, even if that place exists, that place is full of the basic pleasures which we are asked to forgo in this life to get to that. What kind of rationale is that? And the only reason for asking who is greater is to go to that world. Can you see the divide that has been created? Can you see how we are reduced to the level of some kind of pleasure-seeking organism which just want to indulge in some kind of basic pleasures? So the true intent in even knowing who is greater is not to uplift yourself, but to enjoy those basic pleasures, basic pleasures. Why not enjoy it here? Why wait till then? Why wait for 80 years? Why wait for 60 years? Why wait for 100 years to enjoy those pleasures when that is readily available on the streets here? Far more, if I may use the word stupid, it is if somebody is telling you, you will enjoy those pleasures for eternity. Where in the world did you get the idea that human existence is to enjoy pleasures? The Sanatana Dharma does not talk in these kind of terms. It doesn't reduce yourself to some kind of pleasure-seeking individual or a pleasure-seeking organism. It elevates you to the level of totality, total consciousness. Everything that exists, everything that is you. You are that. Now, are you able to think for yourself how much lower we are bringing ourselves if we go after the questions that I mentioned? Who is greater? Nobody is greater than the other. Everybody has their own place in time and space, and irrespective of what time and space you exist in, the power lies within you to realize who you are, your fullness. And who are you? You are all that is. The Vedas declare this fact without any doubt, in absolute terms. And this is timeless wisdom, you must understand. So, without bringing you down to the level of a pleasure-seeking animal, a pleasure-seeking organism, the Vedas constantly asks you to elevate your whole attention, to your whole effort, your whole energy, your whole focus to this reality of who you are in actual, who you are in truth, by indulging ourselves in the pleasures of this world or any other world we have been through. Temporarily, not that word, it is temporary, not permanent. Temporarily, you have subjected yourself to the feeling that you are so and so with a name and form. But by connecting with the eternal timeless wisdom of the Vedas, that blindness, that veil can easily be removed. You don't have to wait to die and then go again wait in front of some individual whom you do not know, and then wait for that person to go through a register in which all your actions are recorded, and then decide whether you go to the left side or the right side, whether you go into fire or whether you go into that land of pleasure. You don't have to do all those things. This is, humans have a psychology. In times of crisis, they always look for some kind of escape route. It's just like getting stuck in traffic every day. We always look for ways and means to squeeze through the traffic, right? We must understand where this kind of thinking comes from. These kind of thinkings did not originate in communities which were living in surplus. These kind of thinkings originated in communities which always lived in basic minimum. They did not have enough. They did not have enough. They always suffered from the lack of material things. So to overcome that lack of material comforts, what do you expect in a desert? Extreme temperatures. So when somebody was living in the desert, he or she always aimed at getting out of that suffering, and they did not know where to go. All directions they looked. Everywhere it was only desert. There was nothing to eat. There was nothing to drink. The sun is burning hot. In the night, the temperatures almost went into frozen states, very cold. So where do they go? Then they came up with the idea of the land in which milk and honey flowed. And always that milk and honey was their ideal place to go. And when they could not find that land of milk and honey on this plane, on this planet, they replaced that milk and honey and abundant water flowing by the place where they are living as heaven, as paradise. But is there such a paradise? Think for a moment. For those who lived in abundance, we live in a culture where everything is worshipped, everything is respected, everything is honored. In the morning, we do not just go and milk a cow. What do? We first go and give our worship to that cow, because that cow like a mother taking care of her children, gives us everything. Gives us milk, gives us butter, gives us curd. If somebody wants a lighter version of curd, it gives us buttermilk. It gives us the dung with which the place can be disinfected. In times of cold, heat can be generated. Everything abundance. That is the background from which the abundance that is spoken about in the Vedas come from. So let us not be carried away by escapist philosophies, thoughts that originated in the minds of mere mortal men and women, to escape into a world where there is no suffering is not what the Sanatana Dharma talks about. Let us not, under any circumstance, degrade ourselves into thinking so. Let us understand from the standpoint of the Vedas, from the standpoint of the Sanatana Dharma, that you are that. You are everything. There is nowhere you need to escape to. Instead, transform. And that transformation, that philosophy of transformation, that secret of transformation is what is revealed in the Shat Darshanas, the 6 Darshanas of the Indian thought process, the Indian way of thinking in the Sanatana Dharma. Timeless wisdom is codified into practical vision. That is what the Shat Darshanas are all about, the 6 Darshanas, which are Mimamsa, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga and Vedanta. Vedanta and Yoga are hot cakes in today's world. Many people know these words, but they don't know what it is. We all walk on 2 legs, don't we? As human beings, we walk on 2 legs, not on our head. But there are times when something falls down and you have to get it. You may even stand on your head to get it. So that part of yoga, the Hatha Yoga, is a technique to get certain things, not something to be perfected, but it is only a means. If you understand the Shat Darshanas in real, you will know the timeless wisdom codified into techniques. And there is a practical aspect and there is a science behind it. Sankhya is the science behind it. And Nyaya and Vaisheshika are the practical aspects of it. And Mimamsa eternalized it through the Vedic practices. And Vedanta is the sum total of all that experience. So nobody can claim absolute right to one of the darshanas. All the darshanas have to come together like the two palms coming together in prayer. When you stand in front of God, when you stand in front of each other, we stand two palms coming together, folded in this mudra, the Anjali mudra, showing respect, honor, prayer. It is not only respect, it is also asking, I need your friendship. It is friendship and honor going together. You all are familiar. Give respect and take respect. When you give respect, what do you get in return? You always get respect in return. If somebody is not doing that, do not be disheartened. It will come sooner or later. Don't be disheartened by tiny instances of disrespect. Those who persevere, those who stick to the codes which has been given by the Sanatana Dharma, you will not be left to suffer. These practices will elevate you to the real consciousness to which you truly belong to. So would you ask ever, who is greater? Nobody is greater than anybody. Everybody had their roles in the time and in the space they lived. And so have you got today, in this time and space that you are living in. Do you recognize what that role is? Sanatana Dharma prepares you to recognize that role that you have today, as it applies today, not as it applied 1,000 years ago, as it applies today, right now. Those of you, my dear people, who are listening to me today, if you pay careful attention, the codes, the secrets are openly given to you in the Vedas. There is no restriction on anybody accessing this timeless wisdom. And what you need to access are the Shat Darshanas. Go to it, learn freely from it. The Master is always available. The Guru is always present for you to give you that wisdom. Receive it, use it, and elevate yourself or know yourself to who you truly are. Don't remain thinking that you are in a prison and you need to escape. You are not in a prison. You are all that is. If at any time, if your thoughts are telling you that you are in a prison, please remember my words. Those are just thoughts. You can change it immediately by connecting to the timeless wisdom. Unless you connect to the timeless wisdom, you will not be able to change that repeated pattern, that repetitive pattern. So you will have to come back to the original tools, the original way of thinking, the original cultural background from where these diverse ways of thinking have emerged. Then only you will be able to realize and know who you truly are. If you do not, you will continue to feel that you are in a prison and there is somewhere to escape. Let me tell you categorically, my dear people who are listening to me today, there is nowhere to escape. Everything that is, and that is you. Know yourself and realize yourself. exist in all eternity in peace, joy and bliss. This is the timeless wisdom that the Sanatana Dharma has presented for you in all ages, and it is available to you right here, today, this very moment. Do not turn your backs to that, but welcome it wholeheartedly. Let us come out of the delusion of who is greater than the other, but receive the timeless wisdom that is contained in the Vedas. And when we have that awareness, we will not desist from bowing down to all the masters who have revealed that truth to us according to time and space. But remember, we are living today, here and now. Namah Shivaya.